My name is David Smith, and welcome to Correctional Officer Lifestyle. Good evening, folks. This is David Smith at Correctional Officer Lifestyle. I've been doing this vlog for a little bit now, and what I get asked more than anything is from rookies. How do we do this job? What's the best way to do this job? What's any tips and tricks you can offer me to do this job? And I'm going to answer that question with a question. Why aren't the veteran staff teaching them? Why aren't they learning what they need to learn from the veteran staff? If you veteran staff that are watching this are teaching your rookies, then I'm not talking to you. But you veteran staff that are more than willing to leave that rookie in the dorm and go out and do the job the way you like to do the job, and just that rookie's doing nothing but filling your place in the dormitory so you can go and do what you do, you're dead wrong. Okay, you're dead wrong. I'm going to go on ahead and tell you, when I was in the Captain's Leadership Academy, we had staff development as our final project. Okay, it was a 10-person team. We had staff development as our project. Anybody that tells you staff development is anything other than training is lying to you. You're developing your staff by teaching them. You're developing your staff by training them. Okay, now the training that rookies get in the Florida Department of Corrections, I can't speak for any other state, but in the Florida Department of Corrections, rookie walks in the door, he has his orientation / onboarding training. Get them on board. Okay, they're going to learn the bare minimum of what it takes to do the job. They're going to learn about their uniform. They're going to learn about entry and exit. They're going to learn what they can and cannot bring to work. They're going to learn about doing fence checks to make sure that the fences are secure. They're going to learn about the log. They're going to learn about how to run the scanner in the food service department or various other jobs. They're not going to learn how to deal with an inmate when it's just you and the inmate. They're not going to learn how to deal with the inmate when they are alone with a group of inmates, because at this point in time, they are always going to be in the hip pocket of an FTO. Okay, you get out of that program, you go into the academy. The academy, they're not going to be alone with inmates. They're not going to be one-on-one with inmates. They're not going to be learning how to deal with the inmates in a one-on-one setting. The only way to actually learn that is to do it. Okay, they're not going to learn how to do that. They're going to learn about their appearance. They're going to learn first aid. They're going to learn policy procedure. They're going to learn legal. They're going to learn defensive techniques. They're going to learn firearms. They're going to do all of those great and wonderful high liability courses that we all love so much. That's what they're going to be learning. Okay, there's going to be topics of inmate manipulation. There's going to be topics on how to deal with high stress situations. There's going to be topics on that, but that's instruction. Some people are good with instruction, but I think Mike Tyson said it best: everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. I'm not saying that anybody's just going to punch you in the mouth when you walk straight onto the compound, but if you learn in a classroom setting how to deal with an inmate one-on-one, but you've never experienced it, then you don't know it. Plain and simple. When they get out of the academy, they come back into the FTO program, and they are putting their knowledge to use. The knowledge that they gained in the academy, they're putting that knowledge to use on the compound. But they are still largely in the hip pocket of somebody that can teach them, somebody that can help them. It is not until they get their certification and go down on that compound that they are getting to encounter the inmates one-on-one or one on a group. So that's when the actual job of corrections comes into play. Now, we go to training once a year. Once a year you go to training. You go to training long enough to qualify with firearms, qualify with chemical agents, and take in about 800 hours of training in 3 days. Anybody that says that training is adequate is a fool. But I can't blame the department for not offering training when they don't have the money to offer the training that we truly need. The money that we need is way outside of the budget for the training that we actually need. What we receive is enough training to get us by. That's what we receive. What we receive is enough training to get us by. And that's not enough. So, the training of the new officers, the rookies, the boots, the COTs, the correctional officer trainees, the training employment assignment, whatever you want to call them, is going to have to fall to the veteran staff of the institution. When I was a rookie, I had a sergeant, took me under his wing, and taught me how to do the job. I learned more in an hour with him than I did in my entire time in the academy. And I had some great instructors in the academy. I had some that weren't very good, but I had some great instructors in the academy. I learned more in that 1 hour with that sergeant. 1 hour with him taught me more than I learned in the academy. So I'm going to go on ahead and tell you what he did for me and what I would like to see veteran staff doing for these rookies. Okay? Number one, engage with these rookies. Don't see them as a body that can sit in the dorm while you go do your thing. Engage with these rookies. Find out what their name is. Find out what their interests are. Find out what their strengths are. Find out their weak areas. Okay? Give them the study material that they need. I can't think of a correction system that doesn't have a policy and procedure manual. That can't exist. You've got to have a guideline how to do this job. Okay? In the state of Florida, we have procedures, and the 602 series of procedures is the security operations, okay? We have such wonderful things as count procedures to standardize count throughout the state so that everybody's doing it the same way, and it minimizes accidental whoops, I don't know where this inmate is, we got to go into a recount. It minimizes that. Okay? We have entrance and exit procedures, which are vitally important because you have to know what you can bring inside the facility, but you also, your staff that is screening people when they come in also have to know what is allowed to come in and out of this facility. And it's not just for staff and officers, it's for the visitors that come in as well. You know, if you don't know, you could be inadvertently letting contraband come through the gate. Okay, so we made a procedure on it. There's procedures for everything. Absolutely everything in the Department of Corrections. Somebody asked me to print them all. If I were to print Chapter 33 and all the procedures that we have to back Chapter 33, it would take probably 5 8-inch binders to get it all together. That's a lot of policies and procedures. Okay? I am familiar with most of that. Now, the vast majority of the policies and procedures do not pertain to security. Some of it pertains to classification, some of it pertains to medical, psychology, food service, mental health, dental, substance abuse treatment programs, any number of things. Security is a large portion of it, but it's not the only portion of it. So give them the study materials that they will need. Does a correctional officer in the dorm need to know anything about the sentence structure side of what's going on in the classification hallway? Not right off the bat, they don't. It will help them in the future. But right off the bat, what would be more important to me? Emergency preparedness, security operations, and count. That's what I want the rookie to learn. Things like that. Contraband, searches of inmates, things of this nature. This is what that officer is going to be doing. So why not get them a procedure on how to process contraband, or in the extreme circumstance, how to process evidence? Okay? And I know this is going to sound weird, but play games with them. And I'm not saying, the kind of games where you're embarrassing the officer. That's not what I'm talking about. But when I was with the sergeant that taught me, we would spend 30, 45 minutes going over 10 codes. So what does 10.1 mean? So what does 10.2 mean? What does 10.3? I tell you what, start from the top, go down, tell me what you know, and we'll discuss what you don't. Those are the kind of games I'm talking about. Hey, when are the circumstances that we are authorized to use force? Hey, when are the circumstances, what contraband is an inmate not allowed to possess? I took a sheet of paper. I had a bunch of rookies on the shift I was working the other night, and I took a piece of paper, and I put 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, all the way down to 10.98 with lines out beside them, and gave them to them. Said, this is a test your knowledge kind of thing. I don't want it back. I don't care if you ever give it back. I don't even care if you fill it out. But if you want to engage your brain a little bit, and maybe engage some of these veteran staff to see if they will help you, here's something you can do. It's work related, and it's going to further your career. That's one of the things you can do with these people. Engage them. Get them thinking like a correctional officer. Number 2, teach them. Okay? Giving them procedures is great. Giving them games is great. Providing them with study material, man, you cannot do better than that. But teach them how to do the job. If you teach them how to search a room, if you send an officer into an inmate's room to search the room, and that officer comes out in 3 minutes, has that officer searched that room? No. That officer went in there and looked around. That officer went in there, picked up a couple of things, and looked around. He didn't search that room. He didn't have enough time. Rather than when he comes back up in there saying, man, did you search that cat's room? Yes, sir, I searched his room. And then sit there and belittle him and make him feel small because he didn't do the job right the way that you thought it should be done. How about, I don't know, get a relief in your dorm so that you can go down there with him and search that dorm. Now, I realize we're in a staffing crisis in the Florida Department of Corrections right now, but still, I, as a captain, would be willing to go sit in that dorm while you, as a veteran staff member, took a rookie out on the floor and taught him how to search a room the correct way, the way where it takes 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes where it takes 20 to 30 minutes to even get started. Teach them. And then after you teach them how to do the job a certain way, teach them why we do the job that way. Because oftentimes, especially with this new generation that we've got coming in the Department of Corrections, the why we do something a certain way is more important and carries more weight with that officer than the how. When you are teaching, for example, an escort, I cannot tell you how many times I have seen this in the Department of Corrections. I have seen, and every time I see it, I fix it because it's just, holy cow. I have seen officers one-on-one escort with an inmate. Now, the inmate is not a confinement status inmate. He's not wearing handcuffs or anything like that. He is just being, say, escorted from his dorm to medical in a time when movement is restricted. Maybe it's daytime, but the fog has rolled in. So we are escorting all the staff, or all the staff are escorting all the inmates so that we have the added security measure, okay? And I've seen officers newer officers escorting inmates by walking in front of them. I don't know how you can see that inmate that you're escorting, that you're supposed to be maintaining a secure presence on and making sure he doesn't go anywhere he's not supposed to go. I don't know how you can do that when you're walking in front of him. I've had to pull officers off to the side after the escort where there's no inmates and say, hey man, how'd you escort that inmate when you couldn't see him? Things like that. Now, you never want to embarrass an officer, but you want to make them think. You want to make them think, why are you doing this? Why are we doing this way? You know? And explain it to them. This is why. This is why we do it this way. And that goes a long way to helping, especially this newer generation of staff coming in, how we do what we do and why we do what we do, to better teach them to do what we do. The last thing, you got to test them. You can tell an officer how to escort an inmate all day. You can tell an officer how to activate the incident command system when you have an emergency all day. They can hear it on the radio every drill that you conduct, or God forbid, every emergency situation that actually occurs at your institution. They can hear it on the radio. But if you, let's say you're in a dorm as a veteran staff member, your captain calls you and says, we are conducting an incident command system drill. I need you to come up with a scenario and activate the incident command system so that we can see how we're doing, so that we can conduct this drill, see where our weaknesses are, see where our strengths are. And that man has a rookie in the dorm with him. He's been working with this rookie for a week, maybe a week and a half. If that officer goes ahead and lights off ICS, then this rookie has seen this officer do this. He's probably seen it a couple, 3 times, because I run drills pretty regularly. But if that officer looks at that rookie and says, okay, this is the scenario we got, let's kick it off, it's your turn. And test that rookie. See if he's learned something. Walk into a cell to search and just stand at the cell door and watch that rookie search. And when the rookie says, I'm done, say, are you sure? Did you look everywhere you can look? Did you search everywhere you can search? And test them. Test their knowledge. You're not belittling them. You're not demeaning them. You're getting them to think. You're engaging them. You're teaching them by testing them. I don't see a problem in the world with that. In fact, a lot of the rookie staff that I have thrives when I do that to them. Absolutely thrives. We'll be in a discussion about something that happened, me and probably a sergeant. We'll be in a discussion about something that happened, and I am very prone to look at the rookie in the room and say, okay, why did we do that? And yeah, I've had veteran staff answer for me, and I look at them and say, okay, next question will be for you. But right now, I want that trainee over there to tell me why we did that. And it's not that, the veteran's in there thinking, I'm going to say it because the rookie doesn't know. That's not doing that rookie any justice. He needs to answer that question. He needs to answer it as truthfully as he can so that we can identify his strengths, identify his weaknesses, and get him on the same page and motivated to do the same things the way we do them for the same reasons that we do them. It's just going to be beneficial to that new officer. There it is. That, in a nutshell, is what I'm looking for from the veteran officers. I've said this in several videos recently, if you are not willing to spend the time to train that new officer fresh coming in, the inmates will. The inmates will teach them. The inmates aren't going to teach them how to do the job the way that we do the job. They're not going to give them the how we do the job with the why we do the job. They're going to teach them how to do just enough to skate by while still serving the inmates' interests. They want them to skate by so that they'll stay employed, so that they can continue to serve the inmates' interests. I promise you, if you're not training your staff, the inmates are training them for you, and they're not teaching them what you want them to know. Folks, train your staff. Engage your staff. Look after your staff. Now, you sergeants that are out there, when you first made sergeant, I don't know if the veteran sergeants took you around and taught you how to be a sergeant or not. But if they didn't, that's an injustice. I had the benefit. I was a 13-year correctional officer. I had been working out of class as a sergeant for so many years. I already knew the job backwards and forwards before I ever put chevrons on. The day and age where we are now, where you've got 1 to 2 year sergeants, they don't know the job the way that those of us that waited a big number of years to get those stripes do. Okay? Been in this business for 26 years. I still learn something new on a regular basis. Don't think after 2 years you put them chevrons on, you know something. You might know a little bit, but you don't know what you think you know. I promise you, you don't. And if you do have that mindset, you're not willing to learn what you need to know. So find somebody, find a veteran sergeant after you make sergeant, find a veteran sergeant to help you the same way that you as a veteran officer helped that rookie coming in the door. If we continue to train people, all we can do is improve. Iron sharpens iron. Always has, always will. Nothing will ever change that. Iron sharpens iron. I'm going to go on ahead and tell you the best instruction I ever received after I made lieutenant. I was actually acting out of class as a captain when I got this instruction. We had a situation in the dormitory, and I was grossly wrapped up in the sergeant's mindset of things. Now, there was a captain that was on shift with me, but the captain had been injured and was working in an alternate duty assignment. And he was on shift. I honestly think they had him on shift to help me because I was a rook. I was very glad that he was there because we come running up. We're running with this inmate, and it's an emergency situation. And I'm going to make a left and go in the infirmary. You know, I'm going into the on-site emergency room with this inmate. And the captain calls me up to him. And didn't give me a choice. It was beautiful. He did not give me a choice. He basically pointed to the ground and said, "Come here." And I had mad respect for this guy, so I'm going to listen to him. And I walked up to him. I went, "What you got?" And he told me 3 sentences. Put a sergeant in charge of that infirmary. Put another sergeant in charge of your crime scene. You stand here and run the incident. Nobody had ever talked to me about that before. Nobody had ever told me how to delegate authority. They told me I needed to. They never told me how. I learned more in that 3 sentences than I had in the entire year I had been a lieutenant prior to that. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to engage, to train, and to test the staff members that you have with you. But it is vitally important that you do so. Because if you don't pass on your knowledge, it leaves when you do. And that is a gross injustice. Don't let that happen. Folks, this is the end of this video that I've got today. I'm glad that I was able to talk to you all about this. I hope that what I said hits home and you guys just go in there with renewed fervor and teach these new trainees. And if you guys are new trainees, boots, rookies, whatever you want to call yourselves, whatever your department refers to you as, seek out the veteran staff that are willing to teach you and engage them. It's important. It's important. Folks, this is all I've got for this video. Like I said, I hope that this hits home, and I hope that this helps you in some way. Okay? As always, I'm going ahead and end on the note that I always end on. If you are in an abusive relationship, please find a way out of it. If you know somebody that is in an abusive relationship, please help them find a way out of it. If you know the abuser in an abusive relationship, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Say something to somebody. And if you are the abuser in an abusive relationship, there is help for you too. All you have to do is ask for it. You have to admit that you need it, and you have to ask for it. That's all that I have for this video, folks. If you like the content, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and please hit that bell for notifications when I post new videos. And if you have some feedback for me, hit me up in the comments section. I can be found at sanzio.squire, that's sanzio.squire @gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at Sergeant DM. You can find me on Facebook at David M. Smith. I have a group called Correctional Officer Lifestyle. Go figure that. I have merchandise on sale, and I'm going to go on ahead and plug this. I'm going to say it. Let's say I am sponsoring my own video. Etsy.com/CO Lifestyle. I've got t-shirts about lifting. I've got t-shirts about the lifestyle. I've got t-shirts about the job. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Folks, that's all I got for this video. Remember, love shouldn't hurt. I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. Be safe behind the fence. And I'll see y'all next time.